It's the final episode of Nitro before the next pay-per-view Fall Brawl. So expect some contract signings and feud furtherings and you know the drill for a go-home show. Hello and welcome to part 7 of my WCW Total Extreme Wrestling playthrough. I'm Kev and we have our final WCW show before our next pay-per-view, and I've just realised that there was a match I was supposed to be booking that I haven't booked. Oh, this is a disaster. There's a missing match. We don't have our pre-show match. We don't have Mark Sherman this week. I just don't know what to do. What are we going to do without a Mark Sherman match? Psh, I'm tempted to restart the whole video. But instead, we'll just assume he was having a night off. He had a dodgy KFC, stomach upset. He'll be back soon. Don't worry. Perhaps we'll put him in the main event at the pay-per-view as a reward for not being on this week's show. So, we kick things off with Bobby Lashley in the middle of the ring. Bobby Lashley is an angry man. He's very angry with the Nexus, who cost him his world title shot by interfering in last week's #1 contenders match between Lashley and EC3. And Lashley is demanding revenge. He demands retribution. And Eric Bischoff comes out, books a match. We get a B on the segment. Lashley can stay in the ring. He's got his match right now. It's going to be Bobby Lashley versus Justin Gabriel. Not quite what Lashley had in mind, but he does absolutely tear him apart. It looks like we're witnessing a murder in ring. Great heat, decent wrestling. Lashley defeats him by pin with a chokeslam in 9 minutes. It wouldn't have taken anywhere near 9 minutes if it hadn't been for both Wade Barrett and Ryback getting themselves involved in the match. And Lashley just swatted them away. Sorry for banging my microphone. He just swatted them away and still carried on just dissecting Justin Gabriel. It's the kind of viewing, oh, I'm struggling to watch this. He's getting so badly beaten up. And at the end of the match, Lashley there of his C+, looks like a complete monster. Gabriel gets an E+ just from being flung around the ring. We only get a D+ on the segment, presumably because it's only Justin Gabriel involved. It does advance our Lashley versus Nexus storyline a little bit. We lose a little bit of heat, despite the fact everyone's involved in it. And, I mean, it says great heat just there. But after the match, Lashley's back on the microphone again. Right, that one out of the way. Give me the other two now. I'll just have them straight away now. And Bischoff comes out. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hold on. You're not having him now. And quite frankly, young man, I don't like the tone of voice you're speaking to me in. So you do get the other two, but you get them both at the same time in a 2-in-1 match at Fall Brawl. Ooh, a 2-in-1 match. I mean, Lashley looks pleased. Barrett and Ryback are sort of, hey, oh, you're right. They're happy about it. They're high-fiving. They think they can take Lashley down in a 2-on-1. Lashley's just happy that he's going to get his hands on the people who, as far as he's concerned, stole his world title from him. And Justin Gabriel is just lying, twitching next to the announcer's desk. And there you go. We're gaining some more heat in our segment again with a B-. And we know a match that we've got at Fall Brawl in our next video now. It's going to be Bobby Lashley versus Wade Barrett and Ryback. I suggest Justin Gabriel might be too injured to even turn up on the pay-per-view. Well, that will save us a few rating points. Let's move into our next segment. Our next segment builds on the tension in the women's division from last week, where the beautiful people had a beatdown on Santana Garrett after their match. Mia Yim came down to rescue Garrett and then cleared the ring with Garrett. And to this week, we have Mia Yim versus Angelina Love in a straight one-on-one singles match. Yim picks up the win in 8 minutes with a submission with a guillotine choke. She gets a D- on the match. Angelina Love with an E+. We're advancing our women's title storyline. This whole Yim, Garrett, beautiful people thing, it's not over yet. But for now, Mia Yim's just establishing, yeah, okay, there may be this whole business going on with you lot. I can still beat either one of you one-on-one. And I don't even need to put my title on the line to do it. Into our next segment, and our next segment is our tag titles contract signing. So we've got the Motor City Machine Guns making their first appearance on Nitro at all, I think. They obviously turned up at the last pay-per-view, won the titles, and then just disappeared off into the ether again. But they're back now on the Go Home show, signing their contracts against the wrong wrestlers. Let's just imagine that this is the Briscoe brothers, because that's who the match is. Silly Kev. So it got a B and got some nice heat for the Young Bucks. They're not in the match though. Oops, that should have been the Briscoes. Sorry, Briscoes. It is the Briscoes, isn't it, who are taking them on? I'm sure it is. Whoops. We got a B anyway though, so perhaps we'll make that. Perhaps that's a feud we should be having. Goodness me. And now we have the Young Bucks, who I didn't swap them around completely. I still have the Young Bucks in the match I intended to put them into because their new feud is beginning. It's going to be the Young Bucks versus Evan Bourne and Ricochet. Good heat, decent wrestling. Young Bucks picking up the win. There you go. The match got the crowd buzzing. I like to get the crowd buzzing. I think I gave this a steal the show instruction, so a C- isn't exactly stealing the show, but I think it was. Those four guys in the ring together should be able to put on something spectacular. They will, as this feud goes on. We'll figure out a way to get a real cracking match out of these four. The Young Bucks with D+, Ricochet C-, and a D for Bourne. We kick off our new tag team feud storyline, and I expect to be seeing more of these teams in some kind of combinations over the next month or so. And then we go into a promo for the rematch for the TV title. Now, I know what you're thinking. The TV title should be being defended on TV, but it's not. It's going to be at the pay-per-view again because we'll get into that. I mean, we will settle into this being a title for TV, but for now, there was only 3 weeks between the pay-per-views. I didn't want the rematch to be too soon, and I wanted to get these two on the pay-per-view in a title match. So ignore the fact it's called the TV title. You could call it the Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate title. We just wanted to get those two fighting over a belt with Paul Heyman involved in it, and it gets us a B+, and that's the important thing. And then we have a kind of out of the blue, just Rhett Titus against somebody match, and that somebody happens to be Zack Sabre Jr., who's making his debut. He gets a C- with Rhett Titus getting the D-. That's actually a really good rating for an indie guy turning up. We might have to come up with a plan for Zack Sabre Jr. He's been around all the way through. I've just not thought of a way to use him yet, but possibly he'll be moved into the TV title picture against whoever wins between Dunne and Bate. Maybe we should just make that the UK title or something. I might make it the UK title. We'll see. But we're on this whole Rhett Titus charges up the card thing, so he picks up a win because he had to. Zack Sabre Jr. was selected because he's one of about 5 guys I've selected to have Rhett Titus beat. But now, seeing how well he performed, we need a new plan for Zack Sabre Jr. Let me know down in the comments what that plan should be. I'm thinking probably the TV title picture. And then we have, I mean, they're going to tell me I've overused the Young Bucks because I have. It was supposed to be the Briscoes before, but now we have just a way to get these guys a little bit of Paul Heyman magic into their system. It's the Bullet Club and the Nexus just generally having a backstage squabble. It's not, there's no fighting, there's no massive tension, but they're just a bit of back and forth between these 6 guys. I mean, Justin Gabriel's probably not there. Probably should have remembered that he would be in hospital at this point, so let's just pretend he's not there, cross him out completely. But they're just arguing about who's the most dominant faction in WCW, and Paul Heyman just walks past, has one look at it and just chuckles and walks on, because he knows, just as well as you know, that the dominant faction in WCW right now is the Dangerous Alliance, and it got a B+ for these guys, and that was the intention of the segment. And now we have... Now, I know this match might seem a little bit weird, but we have... we had Awesome Kong versus Melina last week, and it went reasonably well because the crowd got into it because of the work done by John Morrison and Gregory Helms at ringside. Now, Gregory Helms isn't under contract where he can wrestle, so I couldn't get Helms involved in the match. But Helms has the Helms Dynasty. The wrestling leader of the Helms Dynasty, of which Awesome Kong is a part, is Adam Cole. So why not inject Adam Cole into this sort of organic feud that's come out of a decent women's match last week? And we've got Adam Cole and Awesome Kong versus John Morrison and Melina. Now, I can feel the comments coming in telling me this is not the right way to use Adam Cole, but storyline wise, it felt right for me. Let me know in the comments if there's better things I should be... I know there's better things I should be doing with him. for now, he's wrestling with Awesome Kong as his tag team partner, taking on a couple of has-beens from like 10 years ago. It gets good heat again, because, again, of good work from Gregory Helms. And John Morrison's a big star. To have Adam Cole involved in a match with John Morrison, if we look on the auto push outcomes, John Morrison is considered a main eventer. Adam Cole is not. So to give him the opportunity to work with John Morrison, to have Gregory Helms involved in that, who's doing great work as a manager, and also the chance to elevate two of the women's wrestlers, albeit probably the two oldest women's wrestlers we have, so perhaps would have been nicer to be able to pick some different people, but there's logic as to why it's those two. I think this feud has the potential to just elevate everyone involved, with the possible exception of John Morrison, but to be fair, he's only here to put other people over anyway, and he's got the opportunity to put over 3 different people in one feud, and that's a pretty decent opportunity that I couldn't really turn down. So Adam Cole and Awesome Kong pick up the win, with Cole pinning Cole pinning Melina, apparently. It was supposed to be Cole pinning Morrison, but I obviously clicked the wrong... Did I even do this myself this time? This is ridiculous. Melina is the weak link. She was the weak link in the singles match last week as well, but we get a good performance out of Adam Cole with a C-. Adam Cole and Awesome Kong showed excellent chemistry teaming together. So there you go. Kev was right after all. Adam Cole and Awesome Kong. Oh, should we have an in-ring wedding? How many would you be able to cope with me having Adam Cole and Awesome Kong as a couple in WCW? Oh, I can feel the hatred from the internet already. It's brilliant. And Awesome Kong gets a D, which is very good for a women's wrestler. Melina just the E+. And John Morrison doing what he's there to do, picking up a C. And I kind of like the fact that it's ended up being Cole defeat Melina rather than Morrison, because it allows us to set up for a match at Fall Brawl, which is just going to be a one-on-one Adam Cole versus John Morrison, and they've both got their ladies in their corners. Yeah, I know. I'll try to do better next time. Next segment. We had a brawl between these two last week, and I don't think I can fit a match between them onto my Fall Brawl card. It's already taking shape and looking quite stacked. So because this kind of only exploded into a backstage brawl last week, I thought, why not put the match on Nitro right now? And it's a match that's got fantastic heat and good wrestling. There might be, there's legs in this feud. Damien Sandow versus MVP. MVP picks up the win this time. They both get C-. The storyline advances, gains heat. We get a C- on the match. There might not be room for this on Fall Brawl, but this is a match that will be on a pay-per-view at some point in the next 5 or 6 weeks, because there's something here between these two. I like it. And then we have our main event of the night is Rey Mysterio taking on another member of the Dangerous Alliance. He took on Ted DiBiase a couple of weeks ago. He's taking on Ethan Carter at the pay-per-view. So this week it's Jack Swagger's turn to be fed to Rey Mysterio. We have fantastic heat and great wrestling from the two of them. Mysterio does pick up the win despite a distraction from Ethan Carter midway through the match. Mysterio getting a B-. Paul Heyman not working well at ringside. Jack Swagger with a disappointing D+. But our world title storyline moves forward. We get a C+ on the match, and that gives us a match, which gives us a C+. I used Justin Gabriel far too much on this show. Ugh, sorry, I won't use him again for a while. He's in hospital. And it increased our popularity in 28 regions. Another good episode of Nitro. Let me know if you agree. Let me know your thoughts on not just the Adam Cole stuff down in the comments. What would you be doing next? What feuds would you be building off the back of this? And who do you expect to be our champions coming out of Fall Brawl, which is going to be the next video in this series? If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you pop a like on there for me. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more. And thank you very much for watching.